Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're a brand new subscriber or a brand new viewer. My name is Kyle, and we are of course in the month of October, and to prepare for Halloween, I'm going to be talking about some horror and thriller movies, and today we're going to be reviewing 2020's The Invisible Man. The movie is directed by Leigh Wennell and stars Elisabeth Moss as a young woman named Cecilia, who, after escaping the clutches of her extremely abusive boyfriend Adrian, discovers that he committed suicide. However, strange events begin to occur after this is revealed, and she begins to suspect that not only is Adrian still alive, but that he has found a way to become invisible to continue tormenting her. The Invisible Man will always be a special movie to me because it was the last movie I saw in theaters before the COVID-19 pandemic hit the whole world. So I'll always remember it as being the last movie I saw in complete and total normalcy before everything just changed. So it'll always have a very interesting place in my heart. I definitely wanted to rewatch this film to prepare for this review, and just like the first time I saw it, I think my thoughts on it are very much the same. The Invisible Man to me is an extremely effective thriller. It's probably one of the best thrillers made in the past 5 to 10 years in my mind. The two biggest praises I have in this movie are a person who is there and a person who is not there. So let's talk about the person who is there first. Elisabeth Moss absolutely controls every scene she's in this movie. So much of it rides on her performance alone, and she delivers probably the best performance I've seen from her. This movie captures so many emotions, and I think The Invisible Man, under the surface, is a great story about the impact of toxic relationships. The idea that somebody can be seen as completely inferior, and either through guilt or greed or lust or whatever you want to call it, they decide to stay. But in the case of Cecilia, it's out of pure fear. The opening scene to this movie completely capitalizes what I just said. Seeing it in the theater was truly an incredible experience. The first 5 minutes of this movie are breathtaking. This then leads to the second part of the movie, which is the Invisible Man himself, as well as the sound. These two things absolutely make this movie outside of her performance. There are so many sequences of prolonged silence where it seems as if there's nothing going on, and there are multiple shots that take place in a hallway, or there are shots where Cecilia is in the room and then it'll pan to somewhere else in the room and stay there, as if to give us the indication that the Invisible Man is there the whole time. And this was a gamble. Leigh Wennell absolutely took a gamble with these sequences because they could have been unintentionally hilarious if given in the hands of an improper filmmaker. But the elaborate blocking in these scenes really gives you the illusion that somebody is there. And in that sense, I don't think I've ever seen a movie capture this level of silence and illusion ever. I would like to take a moment and say that this movie is a remake of the 1933 classic starring Claude Rains as the Invisible Man. And I think the only similarity between that movie and this movie, outside of there being an Invisible Man, is that both Adrian and Jack's last name is Griffin. I think that's it. And it adds to why I like this movie as much as I do, because it doesn't borrow anything off the original movie. I don't want to detract from the supporting characters because I do think they are very good. Storm Reid is very likable. I think I've always liked Storm Reid. She's really cool. And of course, the dad in this movie, played by Aldis Hodge. Jesus Christ, that man is huge. I have said that ever since I first saw the movie. That's a big dude. But man, he is so cool and calculated. He's just great in this movie. And it's crazy to think that he was one of the two kids from Die Hard with a Vengeance. It's such a weird thing because when I looked him up, I was like, I feel like I've seen him before. The eyes look very familiar. And then I saw he was in Die Hard 3, and I'm like, that's him! I do think The Invisible Man is one of those movies where the second time you see it, once you're aware of the major twists and reveals and jump scares of the first viewing, it loses a little bit of its shock value, but I still think that the scenes are so well constructed, directed, and edited that it makes the sequences still feel like you're on the edge of your seat. Now, I can't deny that there are a couple of illogical moments in the movie. However, they didn't bother me as much as a lot of other critics who might have given this movie a negative review. I do think that If you're making a movie that is an engaging thriller with enough plausibility and you have a lead actress who's giving it her all, supporting characters who are in utter disbelief about what this woman is saying because she sounds like she's crazy, it really makes these sequences still feel scary to me. I think any horror movie is made scarier when you are unable to talk about what just happened without you sounding like you belong in an insane asylum. But I really have to reiterate Elisabeth Moss here because without her, this movie to me would not have worked. You would have had those good sequences of blocking and all that, but if you didn't have a lead actress selling total paranoia throughout the entire runtime, it would not have worked. This movie, to me, does almost everything right. The performances are great, the action sequences are great, it definitely has that creep value. In terms of the blocking and the hallway shots, it's amazing. The movie also has a very interesting message, as I said before, about toxic relationships, but it doesn't feel like it's beating you over the head with it or trying to preach it. It's conveyed visually to you, and it makes it feel that much more scary, in my opinion. Overall, guys, I'm going to give The Invisible Man an A-. So, was The Invisible Man your last movie you saw in theaters? Well, please tell me that in the comment section below, as well as did you guys like the movie? I'd like to hear those comments too. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. Also, the links to my social media pages are all down in the description box below. I've also set up my newly formed website and business email, so any inquiries, they are all in my description box below, so please send them my way. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. I will have a couple more horror and thriller reviews coming to you very soon. Thanks, and stay tuned.